Welcome to the Juniper Log Info channel, and today we're going to consider the DHCP Relay Configuration on Juniper SRX 210 using Ubuntu 12.04 DHCP Server. So let's take a look at the picture, and we need to connect head office and remote office together. In head office we have layer 2 switch. This is a Cisco 2950 with a configured VLANs on it and different subnet on each VLAN. So SRX 210 acts as an H router, and inter-VLAN routing is configured with a router on stick design. So DHCP server based on Ubuntu DHCP Server, and it's connected to the VLAN 3. At the remote side we have also layer 2 switch with VLANs and SRX 210 as an H router, and inter-VLAN routing is implemented using a router on stick configuration also. So let's start with a router on stick configuration. So I have configured 3 VLANs on a switch, and VLAN 3, VLAN 2 and VLAN 4, and each VLAN has its own subnet, and DHCP server connected to VLAN 3 should list the certain IP addresses accordingly to VLANs configured on a switch. So switch interface, this is fast Ethernet 24 configured as a trunk and connected to interface 7 on SRX device. So VLAN routing is implemented on an H router. So let's take a look at the Juniper router on stick configuration. Here we go. So interface 007 configured as a VLAN tagging. I also have configured the split and interface mode. Of course, if you are using the Juniper switch, you don't have to indicate these parameters, but in my case I'm using the Cisco switch, so I should do it. Then I configure the interface units accordingly to VLANs configured on a switch, and also IP addresses. They are default gateways for our VLANs, so you can connect your computers to each VLAN and ping each other to test the connectivity. So now the most interesting part of the configuration is to run DHCP service on Ubuntu 12.04 with several subnets, pool ranges, using one interface card. And I'd like to inform you that there is a real lack of information regarding DHCP server configuration on Ubuntu with the different subnets using one interface card. So let's consider the configuration more closely, and each VLAN is supposed to have its own IP range addresses listed by DHCP server, and the first thing we need to do is install the package we need. Sudo install DHCP server. I'm not gonna install this package once again because I've already installed this package, and now we need to configure our Ubuntu interface. In our case is the Ethernet 0 interface, but first I recommend you to remove manually the network manager. I will show how to do it. Maybe to get purge network manager. Then we need to configure Ethernet 0 interface using if up command, and sudo if up Ethernet 0. So interface already configured and in up state. So then we should assign IP address, mask, and default gateway as well. DHCP network interfaces. So just pay attention in this configuration. I have the IP address of my DHCP server, .2.2 broadcast address, net mask, and default gateway. The address has all been assigned to Juniper device SRX for VLAN 3. So let's save it, press Ctrl O and then Ctrl X to exit. After that, we need to restart the service. Sudo etc d I can configure that, but sometimes it's stuck. But that's it. So we should check it. If config, yes. Our interface is up and IP address already assigned. Now we can configure our DHCP server. This will be a default configuration. And in this line you should indicate your interface. In my case it is Ethera 0, and Ubuntu server will be using this one. So we're gonna save it and exit. Then we can configure our DHCP server itself. Nano EDC. Okay, now just pay attention on these lines. Here we have a subnet .2.0 net mask and a range of IP addresses .2.0 to .2.100. This is range and subnet and range for VLAN 3. So here we have the subnet for VLAN 2 with IP range of .1.10 to .1.100. Also we have the default gateways. Option routers is called here. For each VLAN we have the dedicated and already assigned default gateway address on our Juniper SRX device. And also we have here a subnet for remote office VLAN 2 and default gateway .5.2 configured on SRX at remote site. Here's the old configuration. Now, I want to notice that a lot of internet resources insist that you should use the alias interfaces for each DHCP pool or use shared network statement, but actually The truth is, you should not. Now you should save it and exit, and let's restart the DHCP service. And we're gonna check the DHCP service on interface using this command. So we can see that sending and listening also on this interface. That means that our DHCP service is up, it's working, operational. And one more option is to install the DHCP Relay service, but I believe that it is not necessary, but we're gonna run this service as well. So just type sudo apt-get install DHCP Relay . After installation, we should edit the default configuration. Sudo nano pt. Now, in this line, you should indicate the IP address of our server, and this line indicates on our interface. So let's save this configuration and exit, and then we should restart the service. Here we go. So before we can check our DHCP servers for different VLANs, we should configure DHCP Relay service on a Juniper SRX device. So let's take a look at configuration. So this is the DHCP Relay configuration on Juniper. So this line indicates that this helpers bit P description, and this line refers to our DHCP server is .2.2, and this line refers to minimum hop count. So I choose number 4. So this line indicates refers to default gateway for VLAN 3, and the last line refers to default gateway for VLAN 2. And this is all. And the last thing, let's take a look at the configured zones and policies. So to make the configuration more easy, I placed all interfaces in trust zone. Here we go. As you see, all my interfaces now they are all in trust zone. This is it, as you see. And now let's check the security policies. So here are the security policies we have. This is policy from trust to zone trust, and from zone trust to zone trust. The match source address any, destination address any, and application any. So everything is permitted. Now the next step is to connect head office, our head office, and remote office together via ISP layer 2 link. For that we're gonna use the OSPF routing protocol. So let's take a look at the configuration here. Okay, and now for our uplink, I use interface gigabit Ethernet with IP address 10.163.30.1/24, and I've assigned this interface to area 0. As you see, this is OSPF configuration. So the next line for tagged interface 007.2, which refer to VLAN 2 on the switch, let's use area 2 this time. And for tagged interface 007.3, which refer to VLAN 3 on the switch, let's use area 3. So the same configuration we should apply to our remote SRX here. So let's check the configuration. Now, for Hoplink, I use interface, the same interface, and like in our head office, it's a gigabit Ethernet 001, and IP address is 10.163.30.2/24, and I've assigned this interface to area 0, and for tagged interface 002, which refer to VLAN 2 on the remote switch, we use area 2, and for tagged interface 007.3, which refer to VLAN 3 on the remote switch, we use area 3. So here we also should implement router on stick configuration for inter-VLAN routing and activate DHCP Relay service on that. So this is the configuration for into VLAN routing. It's the same configuration. The main difference is a different gateway assigned to VLANs, as you see here, .5.2, .6.1 and .7.1. This is the configuration for DHCP Relay Service. Here we again should indicate the IP address of our DHCP server, and this is the interface which refers to VLAN 2 here with a default gateway .5. .1 and that's all. Okay, so let's test the functionality. Now I'm gonna connect my laptop to VLAN 2 on a head office. Yes, I've received the IP address from the DHCP server. It's .1.100 and default route is .1.2. DNS server also .1.2 and search domains juniperlab.info. All information is correct. Now I'm gonna check the remote side. I'm gonna connect my laptop to the remote switch and we're gonna test the connectivity. Alright, that's it. So on the remote side, I've received .5.10 and with default route at .5.2, DNS server also .5.2, and search domain is juniperlab.info. That's alright. So my DHCP server is working very well. So for any case, let's ping the DHCP server. Yes, it responds. Gonna check the default gateway. Great, and I'm gonna ping the okay. That's alright. So, and in the end of our video, I want to show you some troubleshoot commands you can use for troubleshooting. This is show OSPF neighbor. Here we go. This is our OSPF neighbor at head office. This is our Juniper SRX device, and another command is to check the DHCP Relay Service. The show system services, DHCP Relay statistics. Here we go. We have received 9 packets and forwarded 9 packets also, and no errors. That's it. So I want to thank you for watching our Juniper Lab channel. So check it out and see you later. Bye bye.